Hello there YouTube, it's your boy B3, back with another kicking toy review. We're not really doing a dinosaur toy review today. The word dinosaur will probably be in the title, but I know damn well a woolly mammoth isn't a dinosaur. Alright, I work at a natural history museum, I know these things. But this is the Papo woolly mammoth. And yeah, last time I reviewed the Papo Allosaurus, and in that one I was like, oh, a lot of these Papos, they're really expensive and they aren't as kid-friendly, and some of them got sharp points, and you don't want to spend a lot of money on a really nice figure just to have a kid mess it up. But the Papo woolly mammoth is kind of different. It's cheaper than lots of other Papos of this size. Like, this one was $25.95 before my 20% discount, because I get these from the gift shop in the museum that I work at, so I get an employee discount of 20% off. And I was like, that's not much for these Papos. The Allosaurus was smaller than this guy, but cost a good bit more. Got 20% off on him too, but still. And this guy is like softer than Papos usually are. He's not as heavy as they usually are for his size. And see, these are kind of rubbery. That way, and the point of the rubber, I don't think that's like a safety thing. I think that's just to keep them from snapping, from breaking. You know what I mean? And if yours get a little offset like mine have, because I left him in a hot car while I was doing stuff, then you can just, boil some water, dip one in, bring it out, hold it in place, and then dip it in some ice water and it'll stay. I need to do that. But I feel like it'll just happen again with this guy, and it's not that bad on mine, so I might just leave it. But yeah, he's a little scuffed up on his back foot there, but he's pretty good everywhere else. Now, he's a little less detailed than some other Papos I've seen. Like, he doesn't have any detail on the bottom of the feet. No detail on the bottom of the feet. And the nails are kind of just the same brown as the rest of it. So I'm thinking maybe this is kind of an older sculpt and paint method, and that's why it's cheaper, maybe. Because it feels more like a Schleich almost than a Papo. But it is a Papo. It's definitely a Papo. It says it right there, Papo. But it also has, see, check this out. It also says 2008. So this sculpt is from 2008. And that's 2000 late. So this is an old sculpt. Old paint scheme. An older Papo. So if you wanted to get a kid this woolly mammoth, I think that's fine. Usually I'm like, don't get a Papo for a kid, get him a Safari or Schleich. But the woolly mammoth Papo's still really nice. It's a much better price. Yeah, I think this is a nice toy for kids. It's not even that heavy. And that's a concern, because you don't want them smacking each other across the head, I used to be a teacher. I've seen enough of that. Don't need that again. God, the nightmares I have about children. Anyways, let's move on. There's no articulation, which doesn't really bother me. As cool as it would be to have a super articulated woolly mammoth figure, I feel like Papo just kind of tries to give like one obvious joint, like a jaw joint, when they do, and there's not really an obvious place to put a single joint on this guy. I mean, you could on the trunk, but you would probably just turn around backwards, which would be weird. No point in having this tiny little weak-ass snuffleupagus jaw back here articulating, So I'm fine with it not having articulation, especially since all the safaris I have don't have articulation, and half the Schleiches don't. Which, like, look at this guy. Here's a Schleich Ankylosaurus, no articulation, and that's a good segue into size comparisons right there. So here's with a Schleich Ankylosaurus. This will be the next review, probably, by the way. So be sure to rate. I always say rate, comment, and subscribe in videos, but you don't really rate YouTube videos like you used to. Most people say be sure to like. I'm still saying rate. Like from back when YouTube, you could like choose stars. You guys remember that? When you could you could click 5 stars on a video. What is this, eBay? And then here's a figure I reviewed recently, the Wild Safari Diabloceratops. And when that video was over, I was like, hey, I feel like I'm forgetting something, and I was. It has a cloaca. It just straight up has a cloaca. That is its genitals. And that's all you need to see of that. And then last but not least, another Papo. Here is the Papo Allosaurus. And just like last time, they kiss. Woohoo! Alright. And that is it for the Papo Woolly Mammoth. Thank you all very much for your support. Remember to rate, comment, and subscribe. Check out all the cool links in the description below. Facebook, Twitter, etc. I don't know why I still say Facebook, Twitter, etc. also. And I don't use Facebook anymore. But I do still have a relatively active Twitter. I don't like posting on social media as much as I used to. I guess I'm just old now. I'm an old man. This is the only platform I like to use. Oh, I like Twitter. I just don't think to use it. I don't know. Moving on. That's it. Thank you all once again. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can see this guy next time. Have a good one.